Thanks for staying with us. You're watching Good Things Don't Marvel. Well, nationwide, as many as 54 million Americans have a disability, and Easter Seals provides answers to help everyone create solutions that change lives. And here to tell us more about it is Ford Wagner. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Well, for those who don't know, I think Easter Seals, it's definitely something people have heard of, but maybe not, maybe they don't know the details of what you do. Can you just explain it a little better?
Well, I work for Easter Seals Delaware, Maryland's Eastern Shore. We're an affiliate that's one of 85 in the United States. Easter Seals actually started as the National Society for Crippled Children back in the 1920s, and we've grown since then and changed the name in the 1960s to Easter Seals to better reflect the name the stamp that people have come to associate with the organization.
Right. Now, what are some of the services that you provide?
Well, locally here in Maryland's Eastern Shore, Delaware, and Maryland, we provide therapy services for children. We provide disability services for adults with supported employment and job training, adult daycare, information and referral for people that need respite services, recreation services for people with disabilities, and several other things.
Great. Now, do you think there's a lack of knowledge in our communities about people with disabilities?
I think generally there is, yes. Absolutely. And that's part of what we do, is try to educate people in various ways about how to overcome disabilities, find solutions for disabilities, how to maximize your independence, and that's what our organization is about.
Great. Now, when we talk about disabilities, it's a pretty broad term.
It is.
What are we talking about when we say that?
Oh, well, there are visible disabilities, invisible disabilities. I think you cited a statistic that said roughly 1/5 of all Americans have a disability of some sort, and obviously they're not all visible disabilities. And so it's important that people know how to deal with them, learn how to find solutions for them. But typically people used to think a disability was somebody perhaps who uses a chair or something like that.
Right.
But it's a lot more than that.
Right. Now, tell me a little bit about Camp Fairley Manor.
Well, one of my favorite subjects. Camp Fairley Manor provides recreation and camping services for people with disabilities, both children and adults. And this is a time of year when people look forward to going to summer camp, and it's an accessible summer camp where children with all types of disabilities, whether they're cognitive disabilities or physical disabilities, can go and have an accessible summer camp experience and do all the things that kids do at all camps in the summertime, things like horseback riding or going in an accessible pool or canoeing and all those types of things. And obviously there's more counselors in a week for children like that so that they're able to have that experience.
Now, is this a daytime thing or is this an overnight?
A good question. It's an overnight camp, and typically children come in on a Sunday and they'll stay through the following weekend.
Wow, and what has been some of the feedback from maybe both the children and the parents?
Well, it's surprisingly good. Well, I shouldn't say surprisingly, but it's always good. I hear so much good feedback, and I'm glad you asked that question. Personally, I have a friend that's my age that has a son who's 30 years old with some severe disabilities. And last year he took his son to camp at my urging for the first time. And his son hit the ground running. He enjoyed the camp. He never looked back. But I think the great thing was for him, my friend, his name happens to be Tom. He lives in northern Delaware. He and his wife got to take a vacation for the first time in 9 years. So both his son and mom and dad benefited from that week at Camp Fairley.
And tell me where the camp is again?
It's located near Chestertown, Maryland. If you go from Chestertown back toward Rock Hall, toward the bay, it's just a few miles away from there, near the little village of Fairley.
Gotcha. And it's very, organized. Parents shouldn't feel nervous dropping their kids off.
Not at all. The camp has been in business.
And I'm saying kids, but you said,
Well, there are weeks for kids, 6 to 21, and there are weeks for adults, 21 and over. Yeah. And some weeks are just for children with autism, and some weeks are just for adults, 21 and over. And some weeks for kids 6 to 21 with all types of disabilities. So there is a variety, and some sessions are 6 days long, some are 12 days long. But generally the format of the camp is the same throughout the whole summer. There are various sessions tailored to various age groups.
And when did this camp start?
1954, so we've been there 58 years. Again, it's owned and operated by Easter Seals of Delaware, Maryland. And now's the time for people to sign up. They should go to our website and get information now. Especially if they're looking for certain types of weeks. For example, the weeks where we focus on children with autism are very popular, and they usually fill up first.
That's great. And how has this grown and changed over the years? I'm sure big changes.
Well, it is continuing to grow, and it seems like more and more people go every year. And we're adding more cabins. We're building a new cabin this year that should open up. We built one just 2 years ago. And we have plans to continue to grow the camp physically, grow the physical plant, because the need for our services is growing as more and more people find out about it. A lot of people go from here in the lower eastern shore, but now it's being discovered by people on the other side of the bay as well. And there are folks in the Baltimore-Washington region that go to Camp Fairley Manor.
Great. Now, do you have different events? Did the Easter Seals have different events throughout the community?
Well, we don't have a lot of fundraising events, but now that you mention it, we have a huge one. The biggest one of the year that we ever have is called our Volleyball Challenge at the University of Delaware. And it's coming up this weekend, and it's not too late for people to go to our website and at least make a pledge and support one of our virtual teams or an actual team that's playing, and just you can make a contribution online to support somebody.
Great. And tell us the website.
www.de as in Delaware, .de.easterseals.com. And if you want to go to Fairley Manor, you could add a / to that and type in Fairley, F-A-I-R-L-E-E.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Appreciate being here. Thank you.
No problem. Well, stay with us. We have much more coming up on Good Things Delmarva.